Howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel, and welcome back to
the Radical Wasteland podcast. What's up, y'all? It's Greg the Ghoul here with my human companion, Harris. We are back in the Wasteland. I got Mr. Bailey, my ever-faithful Deathclaw, hanging out behind me. And we are here to talk about Fallout on Amazon Prime, Season 2, Episode 4. And this is the series is fantastic, but this is the first one where I was like, this is over way too soon. And it's not just because it ran 20 minutes shorter than the average runtime of the rest of the episodes. But there was just so much good stuff. So
every second of it was riddled with just Easter eggs and goodness. I don't think I've had this many notes on a single page of things just yet for Fallout.
Oh, yeah. So far. No, absolutely.
And I just, bullet pointed it to keep it simple because I would have been writing a whole freaking paragraph for each one of them because each one had such good detail that's going to lead us, I don't think just for the rest of the 4 episodes for this season, but
oh yeah, no. At this point, Season 2 is very clearly a stepping stone going into Season 3 because I think what they're setting up is going to be too big to wrap up by the end of the season in a satisfying way without shortchanging it.
It almost feels like they're setting up for a third Hoover Dam, kind of something like that. I don't know if that's going to be the case, of course. That could be kind of just retreading and trotting.
I guess the question is if they're going to do that, who's going to be left to fight it? Because, man, it seems like everybody's decimated.
It's going to be the remnants of all these different groups rather than the actual groups that we're seeing right now, which is interesting. But what's going to happen when Macaulay Culkin makes the Caesar's Legion that much more brutal? What's going to happen when... Who's left of Vegas? I mean, is there any house left at all now?
Well, I think it's very interesting. I think, I rewatched and then I watched New Rockstars and I watched
Screen Crush,
and then I watched who's the other one? The Paul from Heavy Spoilers.
Yes,
and
cool.
Yeah, all those guys. And I love watching those guys just for any of my other stuff because, media literacy is strong here, but at the same time, I always like to see what other people are seeing and what other people are getting. And, occasionally I get into the comments and be like, no, you're stupid. No, but I think what happened is that the Legion did what they did at Camp Searchlight. And I think that they actually smuggled in nuclear material and irradiated Freeside in the Strip. And that is why we have Deathclaw eggs there. And that is why the Kings have been ghoulified. And that is why we are seeing what we're seeing. I think that is why that happened. Because, I mean, it's recycling a tactic that they used in Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
It's established. Jeannie, you're fine. She's like, feed me. And I'm like, well, you've already been fed. So, yeah. But she can see the bottom of the bowl. So, therefore, it's a crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have 2 cats in the side doing the same thing.
Yep. So, if you hear any yowling, it's just because she's mad at me. Yeah. I have a feeling that the reason why the Strip has been abandoned largely, and that the fact that the ghoul or the Kings have been turned to ghouls, and there's been radiation everywhere. I think that the Legion did to the Strip what they did to Camp Searchlight. Yep. How you doing, Littlefinger? Good to see you. What's up, Heather Starr?
Hadn't even considered that. Well, the day is going great so far with just a new theory for my brain to be riddled around for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Yeah.
If that were true, I don't think you'd be clicking on Fallout Podcast, just saying. But anyway.
Yeah, seems like you're in the right, you're in the wrong spot, Albert, but you have a good day. So
no, I bet Albert's here to have some fun, talk some Fallout, if I had to guess.
All right.
But I like the sarcasm.
Yeah.
That being said, I hadn't even considered that as an option. I was just trying to figure out mentally, because the thing that's keeping me from just jumping and being like, oh, yeah, that's a great theory is I like it a lot already, just for the 2 seconds I've heard it so far.
Yeah.
But the ghoul is, and I do find it weird that they walked into it's technically Freeside and it's technically not Freeside where they were when they walked in. It's the New Vegas North Gate entrance or whatever it is on the map, It's
Yep.
technically kind of a part of Freeside, but it's not Freeside at the same time. So it's kind of I'm wondering if, because they've separated the entities in the way that they're saying it, the Ghoul saying it in the TV show, is Freeside still going to be kicking in their own way, or did this happen everywhere and it's just going to be desolate no matter where they go right here?
Well, you know, I mean, I know that in the trailer we see people running around Freeside. We're going to see Maximus and the Ghoul together. We're going to see a bunch of different things coming up. So, yeah, I don't think it's impossible that Freeside is still populated. I think it probably is. I think that that has been greatly reduced due to whatever disaster hit the strip. But that's my theory. But that's what we're here to talk about is theories. And holy crap, everything about this episode, first off, they've been very. There's just so many theories and so many things swirling around in my brain right now. It's just a lot. Like this episode, for as short as it was dense. It had packed in there from the jump. Okay, starting on the Alaskan front, all right, and actually showing us because even in Fallout 3, you realize, or in the DLC, the Alaskan front DLC, you're finding out that you're not reenacting. You're not simulating the actual fight. You're simulating a propagandized version of the fight that whitewashes a lot of the conditions and the situation. So this is our first actual look at the the actual conditions of the Alaskan front, and seeing things like the idea that the power armor wasn't all it was cracked up to be. You know, or that's what your power armor looks like after you've gone a few rounds with rad scorpions or something. You know, I mean, like you're seeing the fact that it's fallible and man-made. You know,
well, and it goes to the point that Fallout likes to bring up more than any other point they like to bring up, because they like to hone in their points over and over again in some good ways. But the biggest point that they make, we hear it all the time. It is Fallout's turn of phrase is war. War never changes. Even back then, people were so desperate at the time, the U.S. is sending troops in with faulty power armor, like you just said. They're also
going in with the army we have.
They're also fighting against what looks like elderly and child soldiers in the Red Army, the Chinese army there, which shows how desperate both sides are getting in their own ways. And then to top that off, the U.S. is desperate as hell enough where they're just tossing death claws into actual fighting situations as well, whether their men on the ground are near them or not.
Yeah. So, and yes, the Stanleys, that is true. He did. And now we're actually seeing the faulty power armor at work. Nobody ever, it's funny. It wasn't until the TV show that we talk about the T-45 being having chest plate problems and other issues. But it is kind of fun to see that level of consistency and detail, and have that not just be like a throwaway thing, but part of a foundational plot point as to why Cooper doesn't trust Vault-Tec, even though his wife works for them. So I really appreciated that. I loved the reveal of the Death Claws. And, again, I started with Fallout 4, and then I went back and played New Vegas. I haven't done 3. I have 2 and 1 downloaded on my PC, but my PC is buried. I have a backlog of other things that I have to get through before I can have the time to sit down and play those games. So I was not aware that the Death Claws are canon creatures that were developed by the government to replace soldiers.
That was news to me as well.
Yeah, that was new. Yeah, because that's not that part of the lore isn't talked about in the later games, at least not as much.
I love Fallout 3. That's probably my ultimately favorite Fallout. If I really, really lean into it and think about it. I don't think that's in there, or it's just an off-terminal entry that I might have missed,
Yeah. But I think it's kind of fun because I was like, what the hell is a Deathclaw doing pre-war? And now it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And I love Cooper's reaction to not knowing that this thing was out on the field, and then just being like, hearing that first off, they're being overrun, but the minute they release the Deathclaws, it's like, oh, we've got it. They're on the run. They're on the run. And he's like, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. That was chilling. That's some horror movie shit right there.
And it ended on a horror moment as well with them. And of course, the cliffhanger is going to make some people's eyes roll, and it doesn't not. But also, if we thought this past episode was as jam-packed as it was,
yeah,
I think they're setting up the next episode to be just as fast-paced with everything in it. I hope it's that extra 10, 15, 20 minutes again.
Yeah.
But if we get it as full and rich of lore and context that we're informing just from the games that we know of and where we're going in the story that we're at,
yeah,
give me more. As much as I love The Mandalorian, specifically season 1 and 2,
yeah,
those short episodes were killer because, okay, yeah, you might get like an inkling of lore here, an inkling of lore. It's something to hold on to, but Fallout is just superseding.
Yeah, it's like a protein bar, super dense of just, nothing but all that good stuff that makes that fills your stomach with lore.
It's like a nice, cool, just glass of Sunset Sarsaparilla.
Sunset Sarsaparilla. Somebody was pronouncing it sarsaparilla. I was like, homie, that's not how you do that.
It's how it reads.
Tell me you don't go here without telling me you don't go here. So, yeah. Oh man, and here's the thing. I love, on the one hand, I do like the varied episode lengths in streaming now, and how the artists have the freedom to go as long or as short as they want.
Yeah.
I think my problem with it is because when you have a standard hour-long TV show, you know how many minutes that you're going to have for each act before you have to cut to commercial, and you know where your commercial breaks are, and you know where your story beats are, and by the time, like, oh wow, they're introducing a threat in the last 2 minutes. Well, this is obviously going to resolve itself really quick because this one's not a cliffhanger, and you can tell what's going to happen based on where you are in the story beats, and that is part of the reason why I think old cookie cutter television was exactly that, so cookie cutter. That said, these varied episode lengths really do give you a sense of whiplash and it's very jarring when it's not consistent, and you have a couple of hour plus long episodes and then you have one that's 40 minutes. It's just like, where's the beef? But
sure, it's 43, but realistically, it's 38.
And let me be complimentary here. When I say where's the beef this time around, it's only because after such like we're talking about like a plot dense, a nutrient dense meal that this last episode was.
Yeah,
it's just because it's good eating and we want more. So huzzah to that.
The other episodes have been fancy lad snack cakes, some yum deviled eggs, some Blamco mac and cheese. This one was the MRE. You've been hit and you ate the MRE and they nursed you back to health, just like the NCR did to Lucy at the beginning of the show. That's
right. And speaking of Blamco, let's just jump over to the let's jump over to the surface with Norm here real quick. The whole theme of the episode seemed to be experiments and experimentation, and everybody's got some sort of major variable in their plot line right now that can't seem to be nailed down. The one that exemplifies this the best is finding out that vaults 31, 32, and 33 weren't all management vaults. Not all vaults are created equal.
Oh, no.
Even amongst this triumvirate that we thought was like the capsule for the sealed capsule for the best of the best, the Brain Trust. 2 out of 3 of those vaults were experiments. And now it's like, what was the experiment? What was the experiment, man? What are you talking about?
That's the thing that's getting me, because, man, what level of experiment? Because it's so two-brain with Fallout. The way they approach it is, Bud Askins was there. He was put in a robo-brain, and he considered these people his friends, his favorite employees, the people buds, as he said here.
Well, that's also corporate jargon bullshit. That is.
But also, all of these people that are signing up for it are putting they're aware of the experiment. We know Betty and we know Stephanie know what the experiment is. They haven't told us yet, but we know they know. And it looks like all the other people that are in the middle management from Vault 31 are aware of what the experiment was, or at least we're aware that they're aware of a part of what the experiment was. Who knows if they know the entire experiment or not, because it seems like they were getting hired a week before the bombs dropped.
Well, sometimes you need cannon fodder,
That's
and also don't tell me Bud Askins wasn't like, oh, hot girl, cool, like also that.
Oh yeah.
But Bud seems like the kind of prick that would have been like, oh no, we just need some eye candy in the I mean, not knowing what her qualifications were, but coming in, driving in for a for an interview the week before the bombs drop, and suddenly you're in this upper management special training program and everything. That's some kind of cronyism right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reads as, So
I'm just so intrigued just to learn the level of experiment, because part of me's thinking, well, even though they're Vault Tech employees, they don't want them to be completely screwed over, so they probably don't want.
I don't think
generations.
Shit. I mean, I think that I think it's top tier only that cares about the results, so they can figure out how to remake the world in their own image after the bombs drop. And the funny thing is that so many of these experiments were depending on the bombs dropping that they're actually. I think that the senior management is slated to wake up in about 500 years, going to look at the results, and then be like, cool, let's reset whatever crap is up there right now, and now we're going to do it again in our own way. That's my guess, is that the very top of like the corporate elite are all in the longest term of cryo slumbers for the moment.
Well, I mean, we see that in the Vault Tech headquarters with the guy that.
The super VIP guys who paid extra. Yeah.
But only for themselves and not for their family. Doesn't seem like
that's a big no-no with a guy like Hank, Mr. Family Man.
So
Family Man who nuked the whole town because he was mad at his wife. That's, you want to talk about toxic masculinity? Let's go digging on that.
I guess he's mad about his wife for sure, but he is ultimately following orders. Maybe he didn't want to do it because he does seem remorseful. Especially, I rewatched episodes 1 and 2 last night, and he does legitimately seem like it stressed him out. He seems a lot less stressed out about it after the 20 years that have passed. Or I guess not 20 years. It's only about 10 years with Lucy being young in the scene, and of course Maximus still being young. I'm not convinced, especially with where we saw Lucy dog meeting the ghoul in Vegas at the end of everything. Lucky 38 still has a little power to it. You can kind of see it, but kind of about it. I don't think Robert House is still alive.
Well, he is. I think he's so. Actually, that's an interesting thought.
I'm really going with the Anthony House thing at this point. I think he's the one that almost waited it out in a way. I doubt he was as intelligent as Robert House's brother.
Yeah.
But he still had plans. And one of his plans was waiting for Robert to, kind of like he was waiting in real life and before pre-war. Hey, Robert House screwed me over after I kind of screwed him over years prior, but how do I work my way into screwing Robert over in the long term? Oh, he's planning for all these things. He's planning for the post-apocalypse. If Anthony House were to get any of that knowledge, he'd start doing the same and probably figure out, I need to wait it out further than Robert. How do I do that? If that was his only thing that he was trying to think about.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter about the Anthony House theory, and the chatter seems to be like that it's a theory and nobody actually believes it. I still feel like it holds water.
This last episode and rewatching the first two really kind of
drive it home a little bit.
Further. Yeah.
I think that if this is Robert House, then I don't like the characterization.
Agreed, because it is,
because it doesn't feel like Robert House. Now, granted, Justin Theroux's screen time here has been woefully short so far, and we know that we're going to get more. And who knows? Like, he might be very limited in this season, and we wind up seeing a lot more of him come future seasons. I don't know why I was assuming he'd just be this season's bad guy. But
same.
I always assume that it's like, oh, well, they'll probably do a season in New Vegas and then go to the Capitol or go to the Commonwealth or go somewhere else even. And like, there's so many stories to tell. But I don't know. I feel like maybe, just maybe, we might wind up seeing another season in New Vegas at this point. Now, granted, we're only at the halfway point on the season. We got 4 episodes left, but that and everything has been so chock full of stuff so far. I feel like they can still cover a lot of ground with the remaining time. But I do feel like that we're getting an awful lot of setup. And I'm like, where's the rising action? You know?
Well, and to what you're saying, I think it feels at least like where we're going to end up going has a more limited scope than where we thought it may have been an episode or two ago. Because now we know these civil wars are happening in these different spots, and it really can't leave not just the Mojave, but a certain subset of the Mojave as well. Even if season 3 isn't completely New Vegas, it seems like it'll have some, and it's still going to be in the Mojave.
Although it'll be really tough for them to shoot the strip again because they tore down that strip mall up the street. That where they had the practical set for the strip here in North Hollywood. They tore that up, so that's not there anymore. It's been leveled. And I also didn't realize this, but number one, Carol Danvers walked out of Blockbuster, and that Blockbuster in Captain Marvel, and that Blockbuster was in that shopping center. I didn't know that they had used that as the shooting.
Oh, really?
That was fun. And the also one of the NCR guys is Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. I got a kick out of that. I was like, hell yeah!
Got him and Moises Arias in here now. Oh, don't bring Jack Black. I love. Just please don't keep him away from Fallout.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I want to love Jack Black more, but
yeah, I mean, unless you have him in like some sort of like kooky raider, like maybe put him on Nuka-Cola World or something, you know, or I don't know. He could be a Matt Berry and be the voice of something crazy.
Claptrap hurt my brain though. Borderlands made me on borderline and that shit after watching it. I was like, this is not okay with this good of a cast.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Anyway, that besides the point there, it is fun to have a couple different Nacho Libre guys in there like that. And Napoleon Dynamite and all of them.
I just love seeing actors getting more work, you know. And I mean, granted, I wish I was getting some of those opportunities myself. I do have an audition, so I got to get that in the can before I hop on a plane tomorrow morning. So I will. I'll get that recorded tonight.
Ooh,
But in first one of the year, so let's go, you know. And it's not even shooting in LA. That's the crazy thing. I shouldn't say more because, you know,
I was about to ask you what city, but don't continue.
It's going to be out in Tejas if I book it. So
woo!
Yeah.
Cowtown, Fort Worth. I won't
Austin.
ask any questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin. Yeah. So it's a commercial spot. So we'll see what happens.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, you're flying somebody out from LA for that. All right. You know.
Yeah. Go stay on Chazz's couch so you don't have to pay anything.
Yeah. Exactly. You know. Hopefully these guys will put me up at least in like a DoubleTree or something. You know. But yeah, but let me book it first before I start making travel arrangements, right?
Right.
You know, but this
you're manifesting
positive thinking. So
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, well,
the not positive aspect of this episode, the three things that annoyed me.
Okay.
We didn't get Hank, we didn't get the Legion, we didn't get Robert House. That's it.
And hey, you know, that would have been the other 20 minutes.
Exactly.
I think it would have completely fucked the story pacing for what they were going for had they thrown in all that stuff. Jack Black is the powder gang. I always shoot that guy right in the face. I was like, you do not run up on a man in the wasteland like that. Like, you know, yeah.
It would be funny, though. That would be the one role I'd be like, all right, give it to him.
Yep.
Or have him voice
because he could kill the comedy in it, not because we want to shoot Jack Black.
No, but, you know, I was about to jokingly say something, and I don't think it's viable necessarily, because I think they're about to have this giant shootout with a monster. It's going to have to happen. But there is precedent for sentient death claws.
I had the same thought. I had the exact same thought. Wouldn't it be perfect if suddenly, like, they have this great big setup, this thing's coming out, it's drooling, they leave it on the cliffhanger, and then suddenly, like, at the top of the next episode, it puts on a fucking monocle and a top hat and goes, "Hello, mate, how you doing?" You know, and
set down my eggs or something.
Yeah. Yes, please put that down. You don't know where that's been. You know, I understand this might be a little toxic for your soft, fleshy, pink kind. You know, and yeah, the sentient death cloths from from Fallout 2, that would be a swerve if that was where they went with it. But if that's the only Deathclaw that we get, that sets a bad precedent for everybody else who's never like experienced Fallout before.
Well, we definitely see a Deathclaw trying to fight what looks like NCR power armor with the red HUD that we've seen in the trailers.
Yeah,
I mean, it could still.
Oh no, a smart Deathclaw will fuck things up. I mean, no doubt about that. But
it'd just be a little screwy. I don't know. I doubt that they're going to do that. Almost because it seems like Thaddeus is leaning into almost starting as a ghoul and ending up as something different. He can't be a centaur. Because
I don't think he's a ghoul. I think he thinks he's a ghoul. But he's talking about waiting for his nose to fall off, and he's talking about a lot of this other stuff that hasn't happened. And I think that he's going to become a super mutant or something else possibly.
See, the mouth on the neck thing is what's throwing me off. That's what I think.
That's what the master was.
Centaur.
Yeah,
but either the master or Harold, I think, is where we're leaning towards with him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Oh yeah. Oh, if we're dealing,
it was already cracked as well.
If we're dealing with a mama and babies, oh boy, But yeah, like if I think what happened, my guess, just to put a bow on what we think happened to the strip, I think that the Legion smuggled in nuclear material. They did to the strip what they tried to do to Camp Searchlight. They smuggled in nuclear material. The strip was abandoned, and now Deathclaws have come in and made layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most reasonable. I mean, I hope it's something like that for the irradiated aspect of it all.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I didn't have an eye roll about, but I did find a little confusing. And I guess Lucy was hopped up on buff out, so she's just kind of moving and grooving.
Yeah.
But yeah, rad. Like the ghoul mentions it whenever he's walking up to the Kings. It's radiated. And then, you see the ghouls turn around. But the pit boy on Lucy's arm never picks up the radiation. And that I was kind of confused about for a second. I think for the story itself, it made more sense because she's hopped up on buff out, just wants to start shooting.
I heard it crackling. I heard something crackling. I heard some sort of Geiger counter going off. That was like the clue in.
Okay, maybe it is there. And I just missed it. The other thing, and I think I was watching Screen Crush or Heavy Spoilers, one of the two, as well, and they brought up the point that none of those ghouls, the Kings, attacked first, and even the King himself was walking away from the whole deal. I don't know if they were feral.
Yeah.
Which would be even more sad.
Yeah, which is just straight up murder at that point.
Yeah.
Well, the Securitrons clearly had bullet holes in them.
I think it was an amalgamation of things.
At least one of the Securitrons had its screen completely blown in from a well placed sniper bullet from the looks of it. Yeah, I'm wondering if little Miss Lucy Justice here just straight up committed multiple homicide, completely unprompted.
Yeah, and for once, the ghoul didn't even draw his gun.
But he didn't try to stop her either.
Oh, no. He was enjoying watching. But that was all Lucy. That was not her. That was all. I mean, that was not him. It was all Lucy. And there was another thing that happened in the episode that, after especially rewatching the second episode with the Tunics and all that, the Rat Scorpions and such.
Yeah.
And the last episode, just fresh in my mind, is Lucy. I don't think Lucy and Maximus are going to be thinking, or I don't know if they're going to be on the same wavelength by the time they meet each other.
Probably
Maximus got far better of Lucy and is kind of going towards that, like, not to bring it to the religious aspect of like the brotherhood, but he almost sees her as like angelic in a way. Oh, she lived this life that so few people get to live and is walking the wasteland trying to bring good to it That's what I need to do. That's what my
Memory's
parents
a hell of a drug, and in the meantime, she's now hooked on drugs and slaughtering ghouls wholesale.
And
like most players,
just saved an entire factory worth of children ghouls, one way or another. They were ghouls. We see Quintus not very happy about it. Abominations, pop, 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 pop,
Mm-hmm.
I think Lucy might be more on Quintus's side there than Maximus.
Well, while she's high.
She wasn't high whenever episode 2, she gave the stim pack to the slave from Caesar's Legion.
Well, that was because Cooper was being a dick. And Cooper was advocating for violating what she thought was her moral compass, which was to, not help people in need, and now she sees where helping people in need get her out here. And
she also she was like, this is perfectly fine, me slaughtering all these ghouls. They're not human.
Yeah, they're only ghouls, right?
And that line alone made me think, well, she might be leaning a little towards the abominations.
Like you could even see like the little HUD display saying the ghoul did not like that.
Karma lost real quick.
Karma lost, yeah, absolutely. There's moments of character development, and drugs are bad, kids. Unless you're only using them in boss fights, so you don't have to deal with cheesy encounters.
But what do you do when you're addicted to chems and you either have to wean off for 5 days or you got to find your dad to take him out?
Oh, it's the lesser of two evils, naturally. I mean, it's yeah. I appreciated the game logic that she applied to that.
Yeah, and realistically, I think we all do the same thing. Just find some fixer real quick, and you're good for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see where that goes. I did love having the flashback bookend the episode with the reveal of the Deathclaw at the end. And what I also really, really loved was how Walton Goggins, even under all that makeup, playing the ghoul so perfectly, so cool, so calm, collected, to see the ghoul like pants shittingly terrified, like, was so jarring.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bad. Like when the guy who knows his stuff is scared, that's when you know you got to sit up and pay attention.
When obviously we're getting Lucy, kind of your first playthrough ever. Maximus, probably your second or third playthrough ever. Yeah. And the ghoul, that hardened veteran player that's just like, I know exactly where I need to go. I'm going to shoot this, do this, do this.
I'm going to do a different build this time. Builds a fucking, archer sniper build again. But
exactly.
Yeah. But doing it for the 10th time and skipping all the dialogue and everything because all the stuff,
Yeah, I think Coop got a little PTSD from that Deathclaw popping up.
Oh, just a little bit. It's a good thing the Deathclaw don't like canned food, So
yeah, I was about to say. I think that was David's joke from a couple days ago.
Yeah, from the other night. It was so perfect. Yeah,
great.
Yep. It's like it's not a racist. It just doesn't like canned food.
There's just so many things. Do you think after whatever ends up happening with this Deathclaw, that they're going to make it into Lucky 38? And if they do they find House there? Are we going to get that answer?
I'm willing to bet that we find House in his current condition at one point this season. I think we will. I think that there's going to be certain, unless that becomes like one of the central questions of the episode is where's House? But I don't feel like he's been set up to be the key player anymore.
Which he wasn't prior to the NCR coming and trying to take over New Vegas. That was what it initialized his, all right, go get the 3 families from these different tribes, set up Vegas again, and let's do this right.
Yeah.
And let me make some money off the NCR and the Legion eventually.
Yeah. But he's a classic narcissist running everything in his own vision.
Do you think we might see a little bit of that again? Where all hell broke loose and I lost a good chunk of my army. Let me lay low. Because we have seen Rafi Silver in a lot of the press tours and stuff like that. But then again, we saw Kumail Nanjiani a bunch as well, and he didn't make it long.
When you have a recognizable face and name, they're gonna and your death is a spoiler. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We better get a lot more house in the back end here because I'm very curious to see where they're going to go with that. I really really want to see. Like, I know that we have confrontations between House and Cooper coming up, but that's all pre-war. I want to see where he is post-war, and I think they're avoiding bringing him out right now because it would probably, with everything being as decimated as it is, it would probably canonize the Courier scorched earth ending. You know, where the Courier does everything to disappoint Yes Man. You know,
Yeah.
and takes everything out.
I'm kind of thinking it's a Yes Man ending. It is just what most.
But even all the Securitrons are fucking nuked too that we can see, except for that one that we found out. Yeah.
I think it's a Yes Man ending, most likely. That Yes Man was a little more overwhelmed than he expected to be, or than it.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna refill my coffee here real quick while we're talking.
Yeah. We know how many seasons are planned?
All the rumors
right?
that I've heard say about 5 or 6. Yeah.
Oh God.
That was I want to say Aaron Moten said that at one point in an interview, and I think that's what they've got some of these guys contracted for.
That sounds about right. I feel like it was either Aaron Moten or Goggins, one of the two, or even Jonah Nolan.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Well, hey, let's hop back over to our to Norman Company real quick because going back to the experiment, they talked about what was it, the new lieutenant who clearly knows what Bud's advanced plan is and what the plan is for the other two vaults, and all the intrigue happening with Stephanie and everything. I think we see. Do we think that, or my guess is that vaults 32 and 33, they were always going to be exposed to FEV at one point, turning them into the foot soldiers for the middle management and leaders of Vault 31. I think that's my theory. You know,
I like it. I don't know if I can subscribe to a single theory yet, just because I'm still so intrigued about. And I know Vault-Tec doesn't care about their people, but I know these people also were hired knowing what this experiment was, at least to some degree. And would they?
No, I think Buds knew what the experiments were. Vaults 32 and 33 aren't Buds.
Sure. Just 31. But 31 still is repopulating and integrating themselves into 32 and 33. So would they be happy with killing their descendants and killing their legacy at the same time? I don't know if happy is the right term to use, but did Vault-Tec screw them over as well? You know, is kind of the thought.
I think Vault-Tec did screw them over. I think that's exactly what the Vault-Tec would do.
Docile workers make obedient soldiers. It's not false. And rewatching those first 2 episodes last night, I while Norm was unfreezing Vault 31, I had to kind of pay a little attention, you know, a little extra attention.
Yeah.
And everybody else, you know, there's the girl that falls out and it hits the bottom of the ground is like, oh, you know, and there's the other girl that I can't see anything yet. Is that normal? And everybody's kind of having their own different
which makes you go like, these are the guys that are meant to inherit the world. Like, Jesus fuck, you know.
Do you know who was perfectly fine waking up and whenever Norm's given a speech about it being Reclamation Day, watching again with some eagle eyes after knowing who's who a little bit after this last episode?
It's his lieutenant, isn't it?
Bud's lieutenant looks up at Norm and goes and gives him a weird side eye. Like that doesn't seem right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So he's been on to Norm since the second he got out of there. He's been thinking this is not right.
All right.
That's going to cause some issues. I don't know what issues it's going to cause just yet because we don't know exactly where they're going. There's a literal wide wasteland of places they could go.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen there.
Yeah, dude, I agree with that. I think that they've got a lot of ground to cover here, and I think they're setting up some great intercharacter conflict. I think that, they specifically dropped. I forget what they said, what term they used, but they specifically dropped the initials FEV. That was not an accident.
And they didn't say forced evolutionary virus. It was a company that they named. Let me
Google. But that was obviously code name, for it. And I think, God, it's so many levels of intrigue and corporate bullshit. And having worked in corporate America, so much of this tracks. And I go back to my days of working at WorldCom and working at some of the other companies that I worked at, and just feeling very like, oh, the jargon, oh, the hierarchy, oh, the drama, oh, the incompetence. All of this just rings so true. All the corporate culture that I dealt with, which is why I'm so glad I'm a small business owner now, because the only one I disappoint and piss off when I don't do well in my job is myself, well, and my wife. Yeah.
I missed all of that. So
she's got her headphones in and she's like, "What? You mentioned me? It's fine. I'm talking about how awesome you are and how much I love you. Don't give me that side eye. I mean it." Yeah.
I did just check it out. FEV stood for, of course, I clicked away too quickly. Future Enterprise Ventures was the name.
Future Enterprise Ventures, yeah. Which it sounds like next steps for the Wasteland, which could also be, Future Enterprise Ventures all talks about big things happening coming soon, real soon. And that's exactly what it sounds like if they were going to mutate everybody in the vault.
And there's no way that, it's Bud talking about this stuff. It's going to be FEV to some degree. I'm worried for the vault guys, what's going to end up happening.
I like our vaulties, even if they seem stupidly incompetent.
True.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Norm pop off at one point. I think we're setting it up. He's got the slight build perk. He's got a few other things that mean that he's not the most physically competent, or that he's not a strength build. You're not going to see him with the friggin' jet powered hammers. You're not going to see him doing that stuff. But I think we're going to see him pop off and pull some violence at one point, and it's going to be shocking, and it's going to be brutal, and it's going to be awesome.
He did. Betty confirmed this last episode. Norm did kill Bud Askins. So
Yeah, caught that.
It's subtle, it's small, and it was just a little robo brain.
Yeah,
but it's still killing somebody.
Yeah.
So
I like the fact that they did it off screen and they kept it subtle, and all we saw was the tread sticking out of the top of the can. So yeah, and it's blink and you'll miss it kind of references to it, but I feel like it could be setting up to Norm's actual capabilities when pushed. I think Norm is like his sister. He hardens under pressure. He doesn't just crumble.
Well, I think he's trying to force himself to become that, because season 1 he was not that. He hid in the bunker. Lucy made sure he was hidden down there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, there's been a lot of character growth. Of the most character growth besides Lucy, I feel like, in the entire show. Maximus too. Maximus and Lucy have the most character growth pretty easily.
Yeah.
But Norm's right next to them both, I think. And he's very under the radar in that sense, that you kind of forget about Norm until you're there, and then you're just excited to be with him for a bit.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Absolutely.
Different than the other characters so far, but fun.
Yeah. I really am super curious about where this goes now. This one feels like the most intrigue-packed one, and this is with the plot line going on where Cooper is now an assassin for the communists. It's like I feel like that the Norm plot line has more spy versus spy kind of shit happening with it.
Well, and we talked about it after the first couple episodes. It seemed like it was going to be the most. Really? We need to follow multiple plot lines in the vaults right now? Like, oof.
Yeah, but now it's like, oh shit, there's some drama happening here, So
I might have come up with, it could be a crackpot theory, but as we've been talking about it,
all the best ones start out as crackpot theories. Let's hear it.
Yeah. What's going to be important going forward, it's been made abundantly clear to us that it will be important, is Reg and his snack parties in Vault 33.
Oh yeah, well that's a big conflict because he's using the snack budget to get around the water limits, and I think we're going to see the vault collapse as a result. And I think we're going to see Reg. I think it's very important that they talk about how Oh my God, why am I blanking on her name?
Betty or Stephanie?
Betty. Yeah, they're. I think it was very interesting to talk about Betty's polling numbers all of a sudden and popularity. I think we're going to wind up with a populist vault leader that leads to societal collapse.
Here's my theory.
All right.
Betty and Stephanie are at odds. We've seen that. They now realize they're not going to get help. We're up to ourselves. 32 and Steph are saying, yeah, but if we help you, we put ourselves in danger. And I don't
know if I actually believe that based on Stephanie. I feel like Stephanie is like trying to play a hard negotiator and get something that she wants, that keepsake box.
I think she wants the keepsake box. I think there's an element of hey, now I'm in charge and I got to keep these people alive. But mostly I want to keep, like she said, I want to keep my baby alive. I don't think there's much of it.
I don't feel like that she genuinely cares about other Vault Dwellers.
No, I think it's more a means to an end rather than a genuine care.
100%. Yeah.
That being said, I think maybe Woody or one of these other folks in 33 will end up being a more Steph is Canadian, eh?
Yeah.
She is, which is a whole nother animal to kind of turn its head on.
Because there's some interesting character things that we're learning about folks now and feeling like
Canada was taken over by the U.S. and annexed, very much helped by WestTech and VaultTech, which she's now working for. She could hold and continue to hold some animosity towards them as well that is just deep-rooted inside of her.
Yeah.
Canada didn't want to help out and get annexed. They got annexed. But okay, so the idea here, the Vault 33 craziness is going on. Reg and his snack parties are killing the Vault 33. Betty's trying to really enforce her rules. She gets overturned. Betty, before she turns over the keys as an overseer to the first time somebody from Vault 33 actually becomes overseer of Vault 33.
Yeah.
I feel like she's going to feel very lost, nothing left to do. Stephanie doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She needs the resources for them. In 32, the only way to make sure she gets in there and takes it over well is if she speeds up the experiments in Vault 33 and actually sets the FEV off.
Ooh, boy. All right. That would definitely be interesting.
That's just my crackpot theory from us talking the last 45 minutes. It would make sense to a lot of degrees, I think, and make those plot threads go together. I don't know if that's going to end up happening by any means, but just the thought of it's intriguing. Where the hell would that go?
Yeah.
And if 31 decides to come back, because I also feel like there's going to be a split between Bud's lieutenant guy and Norm at a certain point. I'm not convinced that they're all going to either they're going to find some group of villains or a Deathclaw or a Meyer Lurk or something that's going to take out a good chunk of them, and that will split them in half, or it's going to happen beforehand, and then those two different group parties will run into danger, and we'll see how both those different parties acclimate and attempt to fight the danger, if that makes sense.
Okay, I think I'm seeing what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm just trying to logically go forward with the places they've set while also trying to think about what's the most Fallout thing they could do right here at the same time, you know?
Well, I mean, in true Fallout fashion, it's going to go bad and it's going to get gory because while this show is campy, it's still a horror show. You know, I mean, or it's a sci-fi show with a lot of horror elements, and it's very rare that you get any happy endings, you know? So I think that what we're going to see is the one that proves the thesis and the fact that war never changes. And part of the reason why war never changes is because people don't change and people don't evolve. People can grow as individuals, but society doesn't evolve.
Sure. And I think Fallout says that so well. I'm glad you said that because I think that just encapsulates Fallout in such a damn good way where war never changes. People don't change, but the people that don't change are the ones that we all know the saying, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows history anymore. And the history they have is all filled in, different blanks.
And more importantly, the people who had all the money and had all the resources and that were in charge made sure that the history was eradicated by nuking the shit out of it. You know?
I mean, the Minutemen might be the closest thing to a historical allegory in modern day in Fallout, or modern Fallout day. You know what I mean? To pre-war, I guess, U.S. But they're not George Washington walking around. They're not even Eisenhower walking around after World War II. They're very much their own distinct thing. That this is what we think it was like, and they go off of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like when you get to Diamond City in the Commonwealth, and you see them trying, and you get the feet to run the bases, and you hear them explain the game of baseball and how the ball was meant to be used to pelt people, like stuff like that. Like, not only is it hilariously wrong and incorrect, but you could see the clear lines from how they got from A to B, and more importantly, their interpretation of it is naturally violent and painful. Yep. And
it's the environment they're in, and
they're all products of their environment. Yeah.
One stream that we talked about doing a while ago, and we ended up pushing it back just because of this and the season coming out, that hopefully we get to sometime in the new year. Now it is.
You're finally going to do environmental storytelling?
Environmental storytelling is going to be such a good one. I feel like we really need almost a good. Yeah. We could do a whole month of podcast on that. Realistically.
Oh, I think we could. I think because I think you could devote just like one whole episode just to the skeleton stories.
We can discuss that later down the road or after the fact.
I think we talk terminal entries, we talk skeleton stories, we talk everything that's unsaid. And like the importance of media literacy with a property like Fallout. Allegory, symbolism, oh my God.
And each one of those could literally be an hour and a half podcast. And I think 100%. Those are all good topics for us. The environmental storytelling alone, like you just said, in Fallout, I think is one of the only reasons people actually understand media literacy at all nowadays. And it's not to a high degree, because they might only be getting it from a video game, but there's a lot of.
And I also feel like companies like Netflix and everything, when they're telling writers that you have to write for people who are scrolling their phones rather than watching television, and you have these top-down orders coming in where it's like, don't be symbolic, spell out everything over and over again. I saw an essay on this the other night, and I mean, I had heard about this directive for a while because I know TV writers. A lot of them are horrified by this.
Yeah,
but. There is something to be said for the fact that the audiences have changed. There's something to be said. We have to acknowledge the fact that audiences have changed, and I'm guilty of it too. I scroll my phone and I play a video game. I'll have an idle game or something going on, or I might be playing Magic, or I might have something else going while I've got the TV on. Except for certain shows, like I don't know, man. My TV watching habits have changed so much since streaming. It used to be that I'd have the TV on as background noise. And I'd find like Star Trek, or I'd find something else, and I'd just throw that on and be like, cool, I'm just going to let that play in the background. And if I get engaged by it, great. That hasn't happened in a dog's age. Nowadays, my TV watching is very specific. It's like usually appointment viewing. And if if we're like casually throwing a movie on or something, I might have my phone out and I might be looking at stuff. But especially for Fallout or for Stranger Things or for some of these other big event shows that I've been watching, even like Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, or any of the other things that I've been into, I put the phone down and I actually watch now. And the way that they're writing this stuff makes me feel like I'm in the minority now.
Me too. And I feel it's probably we think a lot of the same ways when it comes to film and such like that. So I feel like the approach might not be different, but I'm the same way. And I haven't put on a background TV show and I don't know how long.
Dog's age, easy.
The closest thing that comes onto it is we'll put something on while playing Magic or something as a group. And I don't really play on my phone or anything because there's a group. We can kind of have a background thing on. And most of the time I put Stargate because it's just good to keep those little refreshers going for this, of course,
Absolutely.
And that's the closest I've come to that. But since streaming, I think it's those of us that, hey, we're the most artistic people in the world. We know a lot more artistic people than either one of us, but we still drive through art. Like it drives. It's our whole drive. It is one way or another, and not to be all, but hey, it's what it does. It's what it is,
Yeah, we are the Hollywood elites everybody complains about,
Yeah, and that being said, I've totally tried to, especially since streaming, even when it comes to YouTube for the most part, I try to watch with purpose. I wouldn't say I've never downloaded TikTok for more than 10 minutes, which has only been like twice anyway. But I've never allowed myself to just keep scrolling. I will exit out and pick the next short. Exit out, pick the next short. And I try to make sure I do that. And it's the same thing with streaming and TV where I'll scroll for a couple extra minutes to find something rather than just, I'll toss something on and press play next or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's much more honed in and specified viewing because I just feel like it's gone. And those directives for TV writers nowadays sadly show that it is gone for a lot of people. I don't know how to bring that back. Theaters and streaming are both a little funky.
Yeah.
But 'tis the times we live in.
Yeah. God, that's such an sorry. I'm just so frustrated with these directives now because of having to spell everything out and because they're expecting their audience to be disengaged while engaging with the material. I feel like it changes how you perform it. I feel like it changes how you absorb it, how you process it, how you tell it. I mean, it fundamentally changes TV on every level because TV is a visual medium. They should be showing, not telling. And now all it is telling and telling and telling.
I think there's a specific performance that I was expecting to be absolutely amazing. And I still thought it was a solid, serviceable, good performance. But she's way better of an actress than what she was able to show was season 1 of Ahsoka in Star Wars, just to bring it back in Star Wars a little bit. Where that is such a great character we've all seen Ahsoka, whether it be Clone Wars or Rebels or anything. If you watch the animation, we all know who Ahsoka is for Star Wars. She's the most bubbly character that might have ever been invented in Star Wars, besides like a little bobbing alien somewhere or something,
Yeah, and to have that not be the case at Ahsoka.
I think in Ahsoka, they're trying to go so 4-quadrant, not push any bubbles or anything anywhere. She just stands there like this, and instead of doing everything, like you said, she's just going to tell you. She's just going to sit there and exposition dump something for you. Yeah. And there are times when a character can be stoic and just sit there like this. And I understand that's what Filoni was going with, the stoicism. But like you said, bring the personality back. Bring the character back.
Yeah. When you have people just doing these gigantic text block dumps. Yeah. Oh, hey, Peter. Oh, you haven't finished episode 4? It's a short one, man. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, but thank you for jumping in. Yeah. No, it's these giant expo dumps that are just driving me insane. Honestly, it's a real turnoff for me as an artist. I'm like, this is not. I didn't come here just to spout technobabble. I mean, I want to spout technobabble while doing shit.
Exactly.
I think back to the SNL skit of the Law and Order audition where it's like it's the under 5 role and the guy it's like, okay, you ever see this sketch?
No.
Okay, so SNL did a sketch on how to on like every Law and Order audition ever, and it's like the person that they're interviewing while they're moving boxes or while they're doing something else. Okay, now you're the guy who's you're in the middle of getting a parking ticket while you're getting interviewed by the cops, and like have this and it just nails everything so specifically where it's like, that's how you do an expo dump, and that's what Law and Order really is a ton of expo dumps, but you have a sense of personality. You have a sense of like, they satirized it because they were able to nail it so perfectly. And because it really is its own skill set and it's its own thing of making an expo dump interesting and feel more natural.
Well, it's why whenever Brad Pitt has to explain anything in a movie, he's got food with him, and he's always eating.
Yeah.
Well, this will go whatever,
Yeah.
It brings me back to when I started taking acting classes when I was a little kid and stuff. Old Chambers and anybody else, the one kind of a game that was consistent just to learn your lines was always grab somebody else, grab the script you need, learn those lines by playing War, the card game War. And if you can get all your lines right and keep playing War and separate those things in your brain, have those actions be taking place while memorizing your lines, you're set.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's a necessary thing to teach people anymore with the way acting's going and the way.
No, that's a very Meisner way to approach it, because at that point or Zen in the art of archery, because you're learning it to forget it so you can just command it when you need it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't look, man. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think that everybody's talking about how the industry is fucked. I think the corporations have fucked the industry, and I think that's the bigger fuckery that's happening right now, more so than AI at this point. Well, that's my opinion.
And we don't need to dive too far into it, but all of that.
This is still a Fallout podcast. Yeah, let's talk about. Yeah. Let's get back to that. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll jump into a rabbit hole really easily if we're not careful there.
No, I mean, you've seen my debate videos on this channel. I could rant for hours on certain topics, and that's definitely one of them.
It's an important one. I really do want to get these debates going again. We've talked about a Star Trek one going for a little bit, which should be good.
I'd be down. Oh, did you see my Star Trek versus Star Wars debate video from Edinburgh?
Yes, from Fringe.
Yeah. I put it in.
I'm on Star Wars side, but you made good points.
Yeah. Oh no, my whole goal was to go completely scorched earth on Star Wars and make it utterly irredeemable. And I think I did that. But the funny thing is that since I went on my rant about how everybody's worshiping the wrong side and idolizing the Empire now, I have just seen nothing but constant reinforcement of that. Like once you see it, you see it everywhere. The amount of people who lionize Anakin and idolize Anakin and, you know, make Darth Vader this tragically redeemable figure. The guy slaughtered millions of people. Like the guy committed all the war crimes and wrote some new ones, you know?
Trillions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, but he made up with his son at the end of Return of the Jedi. So therefore it's, you know, it's okay.
I understand the want to idolize. And I feel like there's parts of that with Caesar's Legion. There's parts of that with certain, like President Kimball in New Vegas, in the NCR. There's a lot of similar kind of folks. Nobody epitomizes the characterization of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker as well as they did. I mean, there's a reason it's held in the authority it is in nerd circles and such, you know? That being said, one good decision does not negate tens of thousands of bad ones.
Yeah. Intentional bad ones.
The decades of bad ones.
Yeah. No, I mean the atrocities. One good decision does not redeem atrocities. You know? No.
It might help you a little bit, but there's a reason in the New Republic.
I mean, at one point you have to go, nah, you're fucked. You know, like at what point do we draw the line and just be like, this is a bridge too far, you know?
Yeah. But he went
yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
Oops, I love Vader's redemption.
No.
But at the same time, the galaxy would not feel it's a throwaway line in either Rebels or I think it might even be the sequel trilogy. I don't know exactly when the line is.
Somehow Palpatine returned. No.
Oh God! Ending the podcast now. I'm kidding. Somebody, I think a New Republic official at some point says, "Well, why would we trust Leia and Luke? Their dad. We just figured out their dad is the guy that's been slaughtering the entire planet. Sure, they just saved us, but why would we trust them if they have the same blood and instinct of that? You know?" And it's something that I feel like Star Wars should have leaned much further into, especially with that sequel trilogy.
I think there is that. I also think that, you know, I think that's a great take, and at the same time, I think it sets up a lot of very interesting things. Because my first instinct is, well, look at their actions rather than damning them for their family relation, you know. But it's a natural thing, and it's like, why didn't we see more of that conflict, you know? So
when it makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah. But then again, if you look at the legacy universe, everybody was a member of the rebellion, and everybody knew Luke Skywalker, and everybody, you know, like that was, you know, everybody was at the Battle of the Death Star, you know, and yeah, so I loved Star Wars. I like Star Wars now, But I think what kills me is that this is literally just the galaxy getting fucked over by one family's generational trauma twice.
Oh, over and over again.
Yeah.
And because that family's generational trauma, it made the Palpatine trauma come in with Rey third time around. It's just screwy.
And you want to talk about like bad heritage. Talk about being a Palpatine's like, that's like being Hitler's kid,
Actually, worse, as Peter points out. Like,
yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
And all that being said, just to kind of push it back a little bit towards Fallout, do you know what faction kind of rings very similar to empirical thought? Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah. Oh, and we haven't covered them yet, but holy shit, that was some good eating plot wise. Man, oh man.
A lot of check marks
First off, here. Dane is fucking Dane's a mensch. Dane, I feel like, is the only one that has like a brain and guts.
I think Dane's not long for this world.
I'm sorry, but if you're smart and you're gutsy in a place like that, you're going to be targeted and you're going to be taken out.
And Dane did one really important, really good thing in this episode.
Yeah,
and it's going to get them killed.
Yeah.
Yes, is Dane hides the kids and it keeps them behind and stays behind to kind of make sure the kids they don't stay right there, but Dane walks away and makes sure the
protecting the kids, and that's that sense of responsibility that's going to get them a bullet at one point. That and also stealing cold fusion, but that's a whole other thing.
No, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Do they figure out that Dane did that, or does it seem
Maximus
like
is going to run off with it? Dane might not be on the hook for that, but Dane is definitely gonna. Dane isn't going to stand and deliver and fall in line when on the side expected when sides are picked, and I think that's going to be a problem.
I don't think Dane lives long because that older boy that was in the group of kids that Dane brought in there. That look that he gave Dane as Dane was walking out of there was not a good one.
No.
It was what the hell's going on right now, but it was also
why do I trust you?
Why are we?
Fishy. Yeah,
something's up and nothing's happening right now. What do you know that everybody else doesn't?
Yeah, and then everything popped off. So
and knowing that these are the kids from this chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel that Dane and Maximus and Thaddeus were part of, they lean to the religion side of things.
True.
Those kids have been indoctrinated since they got there. Who knows how long
that is. Cult, especially the West Coast chapters.
It sounds like Quintus is going to get told what's going to happen pretty quickly, and he can put 2 and 2 together because I think Quintus naturally would say, okay, so Xander Harkness and our guy went out and about, and now they're back. Something's up.
No.
Oh, so there's somebody else in that power armor. Who's in that power armor? Oh, you were going to kill a bunch of ghouls and you didn't, and killed Harkness instead.
Well, he already admitted that he killed a bunch of ghouls.
Yeah.
Or didn't kill a bunch of ghouls, which abomination.
Where was it? Right there.
Yeah,
literally just walking around screaming abomination until he can pull a gun. that made me feel like the moment when you're having a dialogue tree with somebody and suddenly they go hostile and they start randomly spouting off random lines and shooting at you. That's exactly what that felt like. I was like, man, they nailed the tone of that so good. So good.
I was that was like played perfectly. So huzzah to that.
I'm not convinced that Dane isn't going to make it past the next 2 episodes. I don't know if Dane makes it.
I think Dane's going to be the tragic death this episode or this season.
Agreed.
The Dane gets fridged to motivate Maximus.
And I think that's going to turn Maximus into because Dane's the one person that grounds Maximus outside of Lucy. Lucy doesn't ground Maximus. Lucy gives Maximus a drive forward.
Yeah.
Dane is the grounding element to Maximus.
Yeah, Lucy shows Maximus that there are other good things out there. It's not just the Brotherhood. And Dane keeps Maximus honest about the Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And I think Dane getting killed by the Brotherhood is going to ultimately radicalize Maximus away from it.
Well, and you know what other question comes up, especially if Quintus starts thinking about Dane here. Who called the Commonwealth?
Yeah.
We know who did it. We know who called the Commonwealth. It was Dane.
Yeah, because Dane's working in communications. Yeah, I'm not imagining that was something that was established in one of the episodes. Yeah, was that Dane was working?
No, it was established in episode 2.
Yeah. Then then obviously Dane's the one who dropped dime.
And Dane's technically started the Civil War. The Civil War would have started a little bit later if it weren't for Dane.
Yeah,
but Dane started the Civil War.
Well, and Dane has clearly had their eyes open and been looking around and seeing like, hey, shit's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to see that shift from the end of season 1 when Dane was like Maximus, killer, slayer of the NCR and everything else, big cheerleader, to skeptic. I'm like, I want to see more of that arc.
I'm not convinced that Dane was super gung-ho about Maximus in the moment. I think Dane knows Maximus well enough, and we're seeing that more now. I wish they kind of would have given us a little moment of that with that, because they totally they walk in there and it's like, Dane, Maximus, he did it, like he killed Moldaver. And then if there was just a brief moment of Dane looking at Maximus looking back and kind of saying, that's all we would need. For Dane to kind of take charge and put Maximus in the spotlight. Because I think that's ultimately kind of what happened. I don't think Maximus was about to put himself in the spotlight. It happened the way it did. And I think Dane might have done that a little bit purposefully to save Maximus's ass in a degree or two.
Yeah.
Which Dane's proven to do time and time again. And it's going to get Dane killed, I think. I'm scared about it, but it's...
Well, I mean, Dane's already made the sacrifice of go. I'll stay behind and hold them off. Like exactly. That's signed, sealed, and delivered at this point.
Mm-hmm. Keep moving with the Brotherhood here. The 3 elders are going to do the same thing to each other right after this.
They already are.
Who do you think makes it out?
Hey, you know what? Let's point this out. They've said Elder Maxon repeatedly. Not necessarily Arthur. They've already shown that they're willing to do misdirects, like what they did with that shot of Kamel's armor and Maximus running in the desert. Nobody realized that it was Thaddeus running inside of that. They're very good at playing the pronoun game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing the pronoun game right now with Elder Maxon. Everybody wants to think that it's Arthur. Might not be. It might be another Maxon. They have not explicitly said Arthur.
I think he might have been an elder in Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah. No, he's an elder. But what I'm saying is that these guys have not explicitly said Arthur Maxon, the same way that they haven't explicitly said that Justin Theroux is Robert House. There's a lot of ambiguity here, and there's a lot of room for interpretation, and there's a lot of non-specifics. Now, I know that, people are saying that I don't have the time to watch the interviews, and I don't have the time to watch the red carpets and all the press tours and the press junkets and stuff like that. And also, as we've seen, sometimes they spoil things and sometimes they put in deliberate plants and things that are swerves,
Throw you off that scent.
Exactly. So, I prefer to just watch the material as it comes out and kind of go in with my eyes closed. Like, I haven't watched any of the Avengers Doomsday stuff yet. Yeah, I've not, and I'm not planning on it.
Interesting.
Well, I like going into my Marvel movies cold, dude. Like, surprise me,
I think they did say Arthur.
Did they?
I think the Yosemite leader did say Arthur. I'd have to rewatch episode 4 again. It's the only one I haven't rewatched just yet. But out of those emissary leaders, do you think any of them are going to survive? Coronado guy already got the Yosemite leader.
Mouth, but he might not be dead yet. He might just be
he was shot. The Grand Canyon leader shot.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's dead.
Right after.
Yeah.
But he called her the C word the episode before it. So I think Mama from Yosemite was planning on stabbing the guy in the face pretty sooner than later.
Yeah. Now she says Elder Maxon. She doesn't say Arthur.
She does.
She says Elder Maxon. Screen cap said Elder Maxon. All we hope is that Elder Maxon will remember us better in the future. All right. Reddit for the win with the screen cap. She doesn't say Arthur.
Do you think she survives?
I think that she'll survive for the moment. We might get her last moments on an episode. Who knows? But I have a feeling that, if she's using Coronado as a fucking bullet sponge for a minute, that'll and she might be able to make an escape. She's got her own crew there,
Which I feel conflicted about, because Coronado was, even though they seem like the sexist brotherhood people, and Yosemite elder leader, the lady that was the Yosemite leader, the elder there.
Yeah. She
wasn't very happy about that, but nonetheless, those were the two that were approaching Harkness to have
to side with the Commonwealth in an open conflict. Yeah.
And even Coronado, the guy that got stabbed in the face, his first line, excuse my French, was, "Where the fuck's the Commonwealth?" Was his first thing. And the Yosemite leader kind of backed.
I think it was very clear that everybody was gonna sell out Quintus at the first opportunity.
Except the Grand Canyon guy. I think he's going to stay alive a little bit longer, and I think Yosemite leader is going to stay alive. I don't know what's making me think that, but I think so. I think that's my theory.
Okay. Well, I think it's fun to see the Civil War pop off, and it's not the way that I expected.
Yeah.
And I like that,
especially in the Brotherhood. The Legion, it's still a little funky, but I understand it. And I'm excited to see where that leads.
And we know that we're going to get more of them this season. Maybe I haven't seen the trailer for the next episode. But it wouldn't surprise me if we dip back into the Legion next episode and we get an update on who actually won that fight that the Ghoul started and who's left standing. Yeah.
I think I could even reuse last week's thumbnail because I had to change it.
There you go.
Ended up being a little bit more Ghoul centric this time. That's the last kind of things that I'm thinking about with this episode are which one of those leaders, the elders, are going to survive. What does that end up being? Is it Quintus versus everybody? Is it Quintus and Grand Canyon guy versus everybody? Is the Yosemite leader going to hold out till the Commonwealth get there?
I think it's everyone for themselves. And let's also mention the fact that the only representative from the Commonwealth that was there was Harkness. So they're completely untouched, whereas we just saw one of the airships get taken out. And I feel like that there's not going to be much left for when the Commonwealth shows up to reassert dominance.
What is going to happen with the Commonwealth is still like this giant overbearing question, I think, that they're making us ask.
Yeah, because, Harkness himself was like, hey, if we don't get cold fusion, then we're going to fall. It's like, was that, playing on a sense of loyalty and a bullshit line to try and get somebody to, give you what you want? Was that a lie, or was that them being like, honest?
Did they end up taking out the Institute actually in Fallout 4 or the Brotherhood, or did they end up taking them out and maybe the Railroad survived and the Railroad ended up being a place where synths could survive and thrive again? Maybe there are a lot of different options of things, and speculation just arises.
I know. There's just so much. There's just so much.
Quintus Williams Maximus accuses him of being an agent of the Commonwealth for the Elders to take command of the other chapters to fight the Commonwealth. That could happen.
Could. I think so. That's an interesting theory.
And there's just so many things to go off of. We're going to be eating good on Tuesday again.
Yep. I'm super excited to see where this keeps going, man. Like, I don't know. This is so dense. Like, I'm so tired after thinking about all this stuff and thinking about everything because there's just so much,
I did just look down. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 bullet points checked off here.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one left. And I thought it was done, but I did just look down and find it.
What you got?
The only other thread that we haven't touched on for this episode was the NCR that helped heal Lucy.
Uncle Rico.
Now they're packing up and heading out.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What's that mean? Where are they going? And the ghoul almost said it too loud, and I guess they were walking away as they said it, so it wasn't too loud or anything, but the ghoul was talking to Lucy, and their conversation went, well, your dad destroyed their entire faction and their and their capital. Should we tell him? Is kind of how he said that.
Like, woo! That's a spicy meat the ball to drop, Yeah, damn.
The NCR is totally on the ghoul's side here.
Yeah.
Which is good to see because it shows that there is good in the ghoul, and the ghoul has done more good than he has bad in the Wasteland overall and in the Mojave and all these different places. Nonetheless, you got to crack a few eggs to figure out which carton you're going to. I don't know the right metaphor for that one, but
I don't know where you're going with that one either.
I don't know where that one, but he's cracking a few eggs one way or another. He's opening a lot of cartons. What happens when the NCR finds out that it was Lucy's dad? And does the ghoul side with Lucy there, or does that finally, or does all the?
I don't think the ghoul is friends with Lucy. I think the ghoul sees Lucy as a means to an end. I think the ghoul is going to offer Lucy to Hank in exchange for information about where Barb and his daughter are.
I can see that happening in a big way.
I think that the ghoul is ultimately a pragmatist, and he sees her as a means to an end. And I think that he thinks that, after 200 years in the Wasteland, he might still have like noble aspirations here and there, but I think he's a pragmatist and recognizes that that's the kind of shit that gets people killed, that kind of sentimentality. And,
his survival is at level 100. So we're working with that.
Yeah.
100. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not convinced that the ghoul's going to be good from hanging out with Lucy. I think we're going to see a lot of good come from that, and we are seeing.
I think you're going to see the opposite, though. I think we're already seeing Lucy influenced by his proclivities and bad habits, and that's because the thing is that the ghoul is the product of 200 years of a particular environment, and Lucy is a very, very, very small drop of hope in a very, very, very large bucket of despair.
Yeah. And that's a perfect quote.
To borrow a phrase, I hate to be all like jaded about it. Now, I know I sound like incredibly jaded right now. I'm being like, there's no hope, but like there's a reason why war never changes, and it's because people don't learn. And those in charge keep erasing the history books.
Yeah, and if there's no history to learn from, you are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah,
time again.
Everybody's trying to remake the world in their own image, and as a result, they're by hitting the reset button on society, they're stopping the growth of society.
Well, and time again, there's always some, Gould has funny quotes about it season 1, but the main point is that there's always a new faction coming in trying to make the Wasteland better, make this better, do something, grow it back again, and make it something that's going to actually be a centralized community in the Wasteland to some degree somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, there's always somebody to take that out as well.
Absolutely.
I wonder if Cooper took out Violet, Cook, and Driver Neffy.
No, I hope somebody took those guys out.
Yeah, Courier. I know we're about an hour and a half in here, and we have now got all 17 of these check marks over here, which is kind of nice. I can't believe there was that many bullet points to simply go through just from the episode itself, which is we're eating good. I mentioned it on Tuesday when we were talking about the Deathclaw, or Wednesday, I guess. This is the animal that a Deathclaw comes from.
Oh, yeah.
A Jackson's chameleon.
Yep.
Let me see if I can type Deathclaw on it, give us a side-by-side.
Yeah, right.
No side by sides.
No, nobody's done side by sides yet. Well, that's an opportunity right there. Where's our photoshoppers at?
Yeah, honestly. Oh, maybe like one of the earlier versions of a Deathclaw before we get these guys. Did that say a chameleon Deathclaw? Is that an actual thing? Fallout 4? Don't get me on a rabbit hole. Here we go. Got to exit out of that before we go too far.
Yeah. Don't do that.
No, I hope we get a Fallout spin-off show based in a cafe called Flea Soup and Crackers. But the crackers are my other pants. Watch out.
Yikes. Yeah.
Honestly. Excuse me.
These are 10 feet. Okay. Yeah.
Have you seen, I know you haven't had time to watch a whole bunch of the press junkets, tours, and all that.
Yeah.
One thing that I have seen, because I haven't seen too many, we like our rabbit holes. Sarah and I jump down them very frequently. The Chicken Man from season 1.
We haven't seen him yet.
Didn't we open with him? No, I guess we haven't seen him at all this season.
Where's our favorite chicken fucker at?
Yeah,
now that's bullet point 18 right there.
There we go.
Hashtag where's the chicken fucker?
Can we can make that an actual hashtag. I really like one of the things that they've done is instead of having some like companion podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
I know they did it with Aaron Moten.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if they did it with other actors because I think they did is what I remember them saying. I haven't checked and seen any more, delved any further to figure it out. But they had the Chicken Man do like a 10-15 minute interview with Aaron Moten in character of Chicken Man and it being Aaron Moten.
Oh, I love that.
Episode. And I like that.
That's fun. All right. I got to look that up.
It would be fun to have something similar with the old lady serving people, asking questions or something like that. It'd be just lean into the little small Fallout isms that they actually put forward and play with that would be so fun to see. Sarah, I wouldn't think too hard about that one.
No.
It has to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're an hour and a half into this puppy.
Yeah, I gotta go actually because I got a meeting at 12:30. I gotta run to. Yep. But hey, we will be back Tuesday night for the next episode of Fallout season 2, episode 5. Oh my God, we're past the 50%.
We're in the second half.
Yeah, we're in the second. We're in the end game now. So. Yeah.
It's almost like Doomsday or something. I don't know.
Oh boy, it's Doomsday for these characters. Let me tell you. I mean, the bodies are already dropping, and it's only setting up to get even bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Do we open up episode 5 with the shot of a Deathclaw, or are they gonna do something else and then lead us into it later?
I think it'll start somewhere else, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, and then we get the top hat, the monocle, the song and dance, and the offer of tea. That's because we have an intelligent Deathclaw. Yeah.
It's gonna throw so many people off.
That would fuck up so many people's first impressions. But if we did a Fallout 2 Deathclaw, that would be incredible. Yeah.
I don't know until something like that happens how I would feel about it, honestly.
Yeah.
A magician doesn't reveal his secrets. Oh no.
Oh, Stanley, I don't want to know why you know anything about that. All right. Cool. On that note, guys, we will see you Tuesday. We'll be back next Friday at a regularly scheduled time for more Radical Wastelanding and analysis. So yeah, Tuesday, Friday. You got Sunday chat coming up.
We're actually going to most likely it's looking like we're doing Stargate Outpost tomorrow since it was a little too quick of a turnaround yesterday to do it. So Stargate Outpost tomorrow. Sunday we're going to do our Sci-Fi Sundays, of course. Maybe make it a little more Stranger Things.
I make it's in my contract with SciTrek that I only get up early once a week to do a show. But one of these days I will get up and join in on Sci-Fi Sunday just because it seems like a fun hangout.
It's definitely where we just kind of let loose for the week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd have some fun bullshitting with you guys. I gotta establish myself a little bit more on the channel. I need to be in more memes, guys. I need more memes. Put this face.
Come on.
That's right.
Greg's our meme guy. Greg's. I'm staring at you while I'm reading. David's our meme guy for the most part. Yeah. Hey, maybe do Outpost tomorrow.
Awesome.
Let me know. Yeah, that'd be awesome if we can get that going. I was texting Matt about it as well. Yeah. So
Yep.
tomorrow, Sunday, Tuesday,
and
no
then Friday.
Wednesday next week, but Friday again next week. Back to our
Friday
regular
night for more radical wastelanding. Absolutely. So yeah, folks, we will see you then and there. And until then, stay weird, stay wild in the wasteland.
Yeah. Oh, and also keep your eye out. Jamie and I are going to have 2 videos coming out this weekend.
Yeah, where was Jamie today? I thought he was going to hop in.
Thursdays are his snooker days. He's got to play some pool over there.
You know what? Respect. Okay, I got you.
Honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
going to have him Friday.
I thought he was dropping in today, but maybe hopefully we'll get him on here at one point. Actually, you know, we should get him in here after they do the musical number in the bunker or in the vault, because I really, really want to see him just nerd rage about musicals in sci-fi. It's
got to be this coming episode. There's no way it's not.
No.
There's no way it's not. It can't further into the season.
And then we're gonna have a populist vault leader who collapses society all around him. Yep. That's how that's
gonna be. Reg, or is it gonna be Woody?
Oh, Reg, 100%. I think Woody's dead man walking. I think Woody's a dead man walking now because they put himself in Steph's crosshairs. I think he's gonna get fridged. Also because Severance is popping off, and
I was about to say he's gonna go film Severance.
Yeah.
He's gonna get severed from this
from the Fallout vault. Yeah. Absolutely. But, you know, God bless that charity, man. I'm so glad to see him making money and booking shit as, you know, like as a actor of a larger body type and everything, being one of those myself. I am so glad to see one of us get out there and fucking make some waves and do some stuff. So I'm so happy to see his career popping off. And he's also just a fantastic talent. Loved watching the guy work. Yeah.
Yeah. All that being said, y'all know we love and appreciate you. We will see you shortly in the morning. Again on Tuesday for Fallout. Wednesday for Fallout, technically.
Yeah, Wednesday morning, midnight for Fallout. It is technically morning at that point. Yep.
Yeah. I keep referring to Tuesday. I'm like, I don't know if I should.
Tuesday night for us, but yeah, for all of our UK guys, it's Wednesday morning. Yeah, so we'll see you guys then. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you mañana.
Adios.
Adios.